We've all been there, setting big, exciting plans for the start of a new year, and then quickly losing steam before we get the chance to actually carry any of them out. But setting goals doesn't need to feel overwhelming and daunting and frankly terrifying. It's just about knowing what the end goal is. It's about finding out the why and the how and the what and the where. It's finding a structure and a style that works for you and then making sure you hold yourself accountable. But why is setting goals in the first place so important? How do I even go about setting them? How do I make sure I can even achieve them in the first place? Decision paralysis plays such a massive role in so many things and is such a limiting factor in why I personally don't get anything done. But here we are, week two, and filming. I count that as a win, personally. Okay, so let's start in the obvious place. Why set goals? Goals are just there to give you direction. They're the map and the signposts into finding the life that you want. Without having goals, it's so easy to slip down into just going through the motions, getting every day done, which oftentimes is considerably easier, but that's not what I want to do. Goals also help you measure progress. They remind you of how far you've come, even on days where you really don't feel like you're moving fast enough at all. For me, defining and setting my goals has really helped me visualize where I want to be at the end of this year, at the end of the next 5, 10 years. It helps me align with what truly matters, whether that's focusing on creativity, learning new languages and new skills, or just being kinder to myself. My goals are there to remind me why I do what I do, whether that's doing some art, building community, even just hanging out with my friends. It makes sure I know what the purpose is, what the point is. Okay, so how do I set goals that will even stick? Everyone's going to have a different formula for this. This is mine. Number one is going to be defining your why. Every goal needs a purpose. So, why are you doing this? Ask yourself, why does this matter to me? For example, if you say you want to exercise more, why? Is it so you can be healthier, be more confident, feel better in your own skin? There are 1,000 reasons you could want to, and knowing why for you specifically really, really helps define it. It's important at this stage that you're not being ruled by fear of sounding too mean or too harsh. Yes, absolutely speak to yourself with kindness, but equally, you're allowed to say that you want to save money so you can have more money. There's nothing wrong with that. Just like there's nothing wrong with wanting your body to look a certain way. What's wrong with that? You're just living your life. As long as you're not causing harm to others, there's no issue. Just make sure you're doing something that really feeds into your core values and who you want to be as a person. On the same note, be specific. Vague goals lead to vague results. This is a philosophy that's used a lot in things like manifesting as well. When I was initially looking into manifesting specifically about 2 years ago now, a lot of what I saw was avoid no statements. I will have no debts by the end of 2025. Instead, you could phrase it like, by the end of 2025, I'll have £10,000 in savings. Those are two very, very different energies, and it means you're putting out something much more positive into the world. And then be even more specific. How are you going to do that? How are you going to achieve that goal? By the end of 2025, I'm going to have saved £10,000 by not buying any new items of clothing. It's a bit of an extreme example, but something that I've seen people on TikTok do. By being super specific, you eliminate the possibility that you'll waver on your goals, as well as the universe hears it and goes, oh, well, this could mean anything. Kind of like asking a genie for a wish. If you ask a genie for a wish, they'll find loopholes and ways to work around it, is the general law, considering genies, which for some reason I have in my brain. But anyway, I digress. Break it down. Goals are so intimidating, especially when you're looking at big numbers, big time scales, and you frankly have no idea how you're going to even begin to approach them. If you can break it down into small segments and small steps, it becomes a lot less daunting and a lot easier. Let's say you want to journal more, and that's your goal for 2025. You're not going to dive straight in at the deep end and do an hour of journaling every single day, or you might do. I don't know, each to their own. But likely case is, you'll get so burnt out before you even get to finish a page. if you've never journaled before. So instead, I'm going to journal a day a week. I'm going to journal a sentence a day, or set a timer for 10 minutes and just see what you can get out on the page. When I journal, I don't like doing it to any prompts because I find it really constrictive. Instead, I sit down with the journal and my pen and I just write until I feel like I don't want to write anymore. And that's good enough for me. If you have something more specific in mind, you might find it helpful to go, okay, well, I'll spend 10 minutes on task one, 5 minutes on task two, and another 10 minutes on task three. And then you can break that down across multiple days, and it will feel a lot more manageable, especially as you're just starting out. Kind of like me sitting down and I will film video, then the next day I can edit it. And it means that I have A, still got that free time that I'm used to, and B, I'm actually doing it. And just stay flexible. Don't beat yourself up if things aren't going to go according to plan. Like I said in last week's video, I want to make sure that I'm posting every week. Whilst initially that plan was for 7 days a week, I've posted about 3 times in the last week, but that's still more than I was posting before. So that still feels like a positive. It's all about gradually incrementing and moving around my plan, making sure I don't feel too rigid in what I have to do, because that adds a lot of pressure that isn't actually there. Life happens, and sometimes you just need to adjust around that and manage your expectations. And it's inevitable that some goals are going to need to shift. If it's something you've not tried before, you don't know how that's going to fit in around your life. Staying flexible allows you to adjust without feeling like you failed. So, yeah, I've not posted as much as my initial plan said I should in the last week, but also I've been wiped out with a chest infection and could barely fathom going and taking a shower last night. I was so tired. But I still got something posted, even if it took me a couple days. And I'm proud of that. That's way better than I've been doing for the last 22 years of my life. So now we're in the planning phase. How do I go about achieving these goals? First thing I did a little bit of journaling about it, laid out what my actual goals were. I then took those journaling notes and I went and I made a vision board. There were a couple different things I wanted to incorporate into this, so I broke it down into sections. The top left is for my career and personal brand creator goals. The top right was for lifestyle, hobbies, things I really, really love. The bottom left is kind of a similar thing in that it's my lifestyle and how I see that changing. And then the bottom right gives some visuals around my friendships and even my relationship, and hopefully going on some cute date this year. I then filmed in the spaces around that with some positive affirmations and quotes I found particularly inspiring, and even just words that rang really true. On there, you can see that I've written things like, do what makes you happy, and affirmations like, I am qualified for the career I want. Because, spoiler alert, I am qualified for the career I want. I just forget that a lot of the time. Then I go and write down the 3 things this year I really want to be focusing on. For me, that ended up being my creativity, my community, and my growth. These 3 are really, really broad, but it's just about getting the big picture, and these could all be interpreted in a million different ways. But I can write these on my whiteboard and be reminded of them every single day, just like with my vision board. Then I'm going through and I'm breaking these big goals into monthly goals and then weekly goals and then daily goals. So I've gone and I've planned the different content I want to create for the next year. And whilst that's already chopped and changed a couple days, it means I don't have to spend all of that mental energy planning on the day, right, I've got to post today, what is it going to be? I can just go look at my document and go, okay, this is what I'm posting. Do I feel like this is the right vibe for today? And it's changed. And I've only posted 3 times and it's already changed. But it means that I have the opportunity to not think if I don't want to. And then track your progress. You can do this in a million ways. Some people love bullet journaling. I've tried it. I don't get along with it. I think I get so wrapped up in the planning and designing that I then think it's too pretty to be used and I just don't bother. But even so, it's not about ticking every single box. It's just about knowing where you started, where you are now, and where it is you want to go. So now we've set some goals and we have a bit of a game plan about how to achieve them. But how can we make sure that we're going to achieve them? The biggest part of this is staying accountable. Share your goals with friends, family, your partner, even just your journal. Make sure that you've got it in writing so that you can go, I promised myself I would do this, so I'm going to do it. Having a community of people around you who can cheer you on and keep you accountable is so, so helpful. I'm really lucky that I've got the midweek mingle that I set up, which means that I see my friends every single week. We all check up on each other, we all see what the other's been up to, and being able to say that I've done this more than once, that's fantastic. I love that. Aside from anything else, the midweek mingle itself is a goal that I have, and it's something that I hold really, really close to my heart. And so by doing that and going to that every single week, I'm holding myself accountable, I'm staying consistent, I'm proving to myself that I can do these first two things, as well as being able to unwind and spend time with people I love and care about. What more could I need than that? That's absolutely great. Okay, disaster struck and my mic died. So hopefully this angle isn't any different because I didn't realise until I'd already started filming. But luckily we only had a little bit left to go, so fantastic. I have reminders everywhere. I have them written on my whiteboards. I have my vision board as my screensaver. I have a Notion board covered in the different things I want to get done this year. And I get push notifications from my reading app and from my language learning app. And I've made sure there's no way I can just forget to do the thing because it's right in front of my face 80% of the time. And arguably one of the most important takeaways is to celebrate the small wins. Don't wait for the end to celebrate. I know when I post my 5th video, 10th video, 25th video, I'm still going to be getting excited all the same. My TikTok got to 100 followers. That felt like a big deal. A celebration could mean anything. It could mean having a drink with one of your friends, or treating yourself to a little coffee, or a new book if you feel so inclined. Not that I need any more books, but I love having an excuse to get a new one, so it's the perfect reward. Make sure you're always reflecting and adjusting. At the end of every month, I plan to look back and reflect on what worked well and what didn't. And if I need to scale something back, then I just will. That's one of the important parts of that whole thing I said at the start of staying flexible. I have health issues, and there are going to be days where I really cannot get up and do things because that's the story of my life. So, yes, I could get up last week whilst I've had this cold and get stuff done. There are going to be days where I can't. And working that into my plan is totally achievable. I can make stuff in advance and make sure that I'm still going to be getting stuff up even when that happens. But also, I'm prepared to stop doing as much if I need to. But also, I don't know what the next year is going to bring. I might get a job that goes, you can't do that. And then I have to stop doing that. And I'll just adjust accordingly. Achievable goals aren't about doing everything, they're just about doing what you want in a way that is sustainable and attainable. Start small, stay consistent, and don't be afraid of adjusting along the way. Even if you only get halfway to your goal, you're in a much better place to try again next year than you were this year. That's not too bad. I'd love to hear more about your goals for 2025. I've definitely talked enough about my goals, and I would love to hear yours and maybe potentially even steal a couple of them if they're good enough. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss another one of my videos, because there will be more. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll catch up soon.